Call the meeting of the Fiscal Court to order. Welcome everybody to our last meeting in October. We did modify our meetings for this month, and we'll have to again for next month because our first meeting day is a presidential election day, and the courthouse will be closed. So we're going to try to get back on schedule when we can, but sometimes circumstances just don't allow it. We have with us today Savannah Smothers and Elisa Bernard. Am I pronouncing that right? Okay, from Marshall County High School, and they have a proclamation that they would like to present to the court. This is in regard to Safe Schools Week. I'll just read the proclamation. Whereas schools make substantial contributions to the future of America and to the development of our nation's young people as knowledgeable, responsible, and productive citizens. And whereas excellence in education is dependent on safe, secure, and peaceful school settings. And whereas the safety and well-being of many students, teachers, and school staff are unnecessarily jeopardized by crime and violence, such as substance abuse, gangs, bullying, poor discipline, vandalism, and absenteeism in our schools. And whereas all leaders, especially those in education, law enforcement, government, and business, should eagerly collaborate with each other to focus public attention on school safety and identify, develop, and promote answers to these critical issues. And whereas numerous schools and school districts throughout the country, along with national programs, are among those innovative answers. And whereas the observance of Safe Schools Week encourage students, parents, educators, and the community to realize that everyone needs to do their part to stop bullying by being part of a cure in order to promote efforts to provide Kentucky schools with positive and safe learning climates. Therefore, we do hereby proclaim October the 21st through the 27th, 2012 as Safe Schools Week in Marshall County, and encourage all fraternal, legal, government, and professional associations, students, and educators in America's schools to formally adopt similar resolutions and proclamations so that we may enthusiastically work together to make our schools safe, secure, and peaceful places for learning, teaching, and working, free of drugs, alcohol, weapons, and fear. I would recommend approval of this proclamation. What is your pleasure? We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Young ladies, y'all want to come around so we can sign this proclamation? What is today, the 23rd?
23rd.
You know, I believe Sheriff Byers would attest to this. I'm very proud of our students at Marshall County High School. Kevin don't have to have a deputy patrolling the halls every day like you see in some schools in our Commonwealth and in our nation. And I think that's a testament to our students, not only these young ladies, but all of the students at Marshall County High School. And I'm very proud of our young people of our community. So let's see, I can write. And I think the mayor was going to sign this as well on behalf of the city and the city council. Young ladies, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right. It's that time of the year again, and it seems like only yesterday, ladies, that you were here for our Love Light Tree proclamation. We do have Evie Hannon and the members of the Marshall County Hospital Auxiliary here with us today. I want to read this proclamation, and this is a tradition here in Marshall County. This is the observance of our Love Light Tree Day. Whereas the Marshall County Hospital Auxiliary is a nonprofit organization seeking always to benefit and promote the Marshall County Hospital, and whereas the Marshall County Hospital Auxiliary has in the past purchased a patient ECG, Telpac, and lead, 3 electronic digital thermometers with security cables, a cafeteria high chair, a Susie Simon training mannequin, a computer, components. They've done everything. They buy all kind of stuff for the hospital. These are just a few of the items. And whereas the Marshall County Hospital gave the second annual $500 scholarship for a student in Marshall County going into the healthcare field. And whereas the Marshall County Hospital Auxiliary will provide for 26 provided for 26 consecutive years an avenue for individuals to commemorate and honor loved ones, deceased or living, by sponsoring the Love Light Tree each December. And whereas the Marshall County Hospital Auxiliary would like to set aside one special day to encourage county residents to remember loved ones by making a donation to have a light placed on the Love Light Tree. Therefore, the Marshall County Fiscal Court does hereby proclaim Monday, December the 3rd, 2012, Love Light Tree Day in Marshall County. What's your pleasure?
Make a motion, Judge.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Get the auxiliary to come around for our signing. Now, give them a little idea of what's going to happen. We normally have the choir or a choral group and music and refreshments, and y'all do it upright. I just want to make sure everybody knows what to expect. That is our time going to be in the evening again as
Well,
normal?
we're doing it something a little different this year.
Okay.
If you'll notice, we changed the day of the proclamation to December 3rd. What we're going to do this year is we're going to have a combination of a Love Light Tree Day with an open house that's going to be from 8 to 4 at the hospital, and we'll be there to accept donations, and refreshments will be served then. And then, as tradition, in the evening at 5:30, we will be having the lighting of the tree. So it's going to be kind of a whole day event for us, and then we will be providing refreshments following that ceremony. Again, this year, the Benton Baptist Children's Choir is going to be performing, and then prior to the start of the ceremony, we are going to have some members from the Marshall County High School band. They're going to provide some nice soft music as we gather, guitar music or harp or something. They're in the process of preparing for that. So the Marshall County High School band, one of their members will be involved, and then the choir again this year. So we're just encouraging you all to come and share that day with us, a special day. We certainly appreciate all the contributions in the past, because it certainly does give us the opportunity to get some needed items that the hospital hasn't necessarily budgeted for. So all these things that we do benefit not only Marshall County Hospital, but as a community as a whole. And the lights will be sold for a donation of $5 each this year, and you will be able to purchase lights starting on November 1st, and they can be purchased either you can contact us, and we'd be glad to send you a card, but they can be picked up in the hospital lobby 7 days a week, 24 hours. There'll be a a display there where you can pick up some donation cards if you would like to, so.
This is the total contributions thus far through our auxiliary for the year?
For this year, yes, we spent, it was almost $8,900. We purchased $8,900 worth of items for the hospital just in this year alone. So,
Barb, you spent a lot of years at the hospital. This is very helpful, is it not, Ms. Randall? Barb was our surgical nurse for many years, and I know it is a benefit to the entire medical community. Well, ladies, good luck, and look forward to the ceremony. You always outdo yourselves each year, but certainly wish you the best this year.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She's gonna get her votes now.
We got the pictures? Okay.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
We're done, okay, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry.
Next, our Emergency Management Director, Melissa Combs, has some items for us.
Judge, just wanted to address the court real quickly. As you know, we have a kids' fire safety house that we utilize throughout the community doing fire prevention. That participates in our preschools, our daycares, our elementary schools, fire departments. It's used all over the county. And the vehicle that we use to transport that, excuse me, sorry, has been in dire straits for some time now, and the Alliance has been able to secure a new vehicle, and we're very excited about that, one that is a lot better equipped to transport that unit. And I'm here today to ask permission to surplus the '89 Chevy that we were utilizing, and in addition to that, the funds that come from that, we would like your consideration and permission to take those funds and do some work on the decaling of that safety trailer. The decals are getting in pretty bad shape and are needing some touch-up, so we would like permission to surplus that vehicle and use those funds to do that work.
You've heard the request of Melissa. Do I hear a motion?
Make that motion, Judge.
We have a motion by Squire Gold that we allow our rescue squad to surplus the old truck and use the money for decals on our fire safety trailer. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Is that it, Melissa? Thank you very much. All right, let's move into correspondence. Yes, I'm sorry.
Can I just make one quick comment?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not on the agenda. I didn't know if it was appropriate that I might make a comment, kind of update the fiscal court on the status of some of the other counties in accepting the sick worker resolution. But I just noticed you've got us on the,
I've got you on the agenda, and I will call on you.
and I'd love to make a few comments
Before that.
before the board. Thank you.
Okay, yes, sir. From the North Marshall Water District, the Board of Commissioners of the North Marshall Water District voted unanimously to provide Bobby Gifford a raise in pay based on his exceptional work in helping guide and lead North Marshall Water out of the wilderness. His efforts and his focus have been exceptional, and we wish to reward him for his service. Effective with Mr. Gifford's pay in November, we are providing him with an increase of $3,500 annually, or $291.67 per month, and his total salary will be $42,000 plus benefits beginning November 2012. That's from Jerry Miller, the Chairman of the Board of Commissioners, North Marshall Water. Emily will be working with them because we pay a portion of the salary from Water Vision 2020 from the Energy and Environment Cabinet. And Melissa, this is something that I wasn't really aware of because I think we've allowed this to happen in times past. Dear Judge Miller, the Kentucky Division for Air Quality recently responded to a citizen complaint regarding the open burning of a house for disposal at 408 Lynn Nelson Road in Benton. It is our understanding that the citizen had obtained approval from the City of Benton to burn the house for disposal. The Division for Air Quality would like to respectfully inform you that the open burning of a house for disposal is a violation of Kentucky's open burning regulation 401 KAR 63005. Under no circumstances is it legal to burn a house or its contents for disposal. Included with this letter are copies of the open burning brochure and open burning regulation. Also, information on fire training is also included. Please be aware that if the City of Benton or Marshall County gives permission to citizens to burn structures in the future, this could result in the notice of violation and potential penalties of up to $25,000 per day per violation. Please contact me with any questions regarding this matter. Sincerely, Betsy Ryan, the Environmental Control Supervisor. In times past, if you recall, we have allowed for training purposes some of our fire departments to burn old structures for the.
That's different too, Judge.
Pardon?
That's not necessarily, if you meet the criteria and follow their directions, you can actually still do that. But it's not easy.
It's not easy. There's some regulations.
Well, you have to remove the
go in
shingles. There's just
here
a lot of things you have to do. You gotta
Yeah.
remove certain items from the house. It's almost like tearing the house down before you do it.
Yeah,
But
There's-
there is a way to do it.
there's a whole lot of stuff in here. I wasn't, and I'm trying to think of the situation. It said the City of Benton gave permission on this, and I don't know whether it was for training purposes or not. Obviously, they did not impose this fine. They're just letting us know because I thought if there was an agreement that they could go out and for training purposes without going through all this. But anyway, now we know that it is against the open burning regulation 401 KAR. So we'll pass this on to our fire departments.
The key is that for the disposal of it's actually the key to that's for the disposal of the house.
Yeah.
That's the deal. You can't burn it for the disposal of the house.
We have done, and this conversation has been going on quite a bit this year, and the informational flyer, I'm sure is the same one that's attached there, has gone out to all the departments.
Oh, really?
because
Okay.
There's been other issues, and that is other construction debris from remodel projects, mattresses, carpeting, things of that matter. All of that falls into that same category. So the education is already out there. I'm unfamiliar with this particular incident, and I'll check into that and see what the circumstances are. But we've also been trying to do public education and making sure that those flyers get out at our events as much as we can. So I apologize that I'm not familiar with that particular incident, but we have
just
been
got
doing
this
some
in, I
education
think,
with them.
last
So
couple
the
of days.
departments were all given copies of that brochure so that they would be able to distribute that in the community if they did have to respond. And so we're trying to increase that community awareness about that illegal burning.
All right. Thank you, Melissa. All right, let's move into old business. You've all received the minutes of the October 9, 2012 meeting of the Fiscal Court. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes of the meeting?
I have none.
Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes, Judge.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor say aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Opal Lane, Commissioner Anderson, I think you had another meeting. Is that continuing to move along, and maybe we're gonna have an agreement with,
They are wanting to attempt to raise the money. They're unsure if all the residents are on board with that. They have, however, in the meantime, met with Russell and I last week and say that they would like for them to raise the money if possible and give the money to the county and us take care of the road. And I told them I wasn't sure we could do that. I didn't see why we couldn't, but he was gonna meet with Jeff and talk to Jeff about it, see if there's any reason we couldn't.
well, we have allowed in the past, people to pay up front, to get their roads paved and in shape.
Right.
And go ahead and take the roads in just to keep them maintained until such time as the weather permitted that we could go in. Is there any law prohibiting that, Jeff? Have you researched that, or have they talked with you, or?
Yeah, I wrote a letter back February 14, 2011, setting out if it was an existing road, if it was a new road, if they wanted to pay for the cost up front. I mean, I
That
think
would be acceptable.
I've addressed that 2 years ago.
Okay. Okay, so I guess now, Commissioner, we'll just wait and see what it's up to them. I
It's
mean,
up to them, so I told them, if they wanna pay for it up front, instead of doing the taxing district, that's their choice, but
Yeah.
at any rate, they would have to figure out themselves how they wanna pay for it.
right. There's two ways we can do this, and Commissioner Anderson has been working with, the residents on that property. There is a statute that provides that you can create a special road taxing district for the purpose of getting a road up to the county standards, and you pay for it over a period of years on your tax bill. Or they can raise the money. We've already given the estimates on what we can do and what we feel like it would take, based on our estimates from our blacktop contractor, from Russell, looking at the road and any improvements that we have to make. So we'll just wait then to see what their determination has been. On our sanitation number 2 district, we had an idea. Misty, were you able to determine if they owned that property or leased it?
I don't think they do, Judge, so I contacted Commissioner Anderson since that was his district, and I think he has someone.
Royce Templeton said he'd be willing to serve if that's okay with you.
Royce would be fine. You want to put that in the form of a motion, Terry?
Well, after you recommend him, I will.
Well, I'm sorry, I'll then, but he said, sorry about that. I would recommend Royce Templeton to serve in that capacity.
I make the motion.
Mr. Anderson moves, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. On our wellness program, Emily has asked me to bring this up for a reason. The 2013 program hasn't been released, but she would like to change the benefits eligibility to state that it would be active full-time employees. You have to be actively employed at the time of the incentive payout to receive the terms of our program. Of course, we do encourage our employees to participate in the wellness program. It is on a point system, and I agree with Emily that it should be for full-time active employees. But she wanted to bring that before the court to get your approval on that. And Emily's not here to go into further detail on it, but this was her recommendation, but we can wait if you would rather.
We can wait. I just like to find out what it means for sure about active. I just like a little more explanation.
Okay.
Who's gonna be eligible?
I think this came up recently, Bob, an employee's off sick, injured, no workman's comp is where this, I think
And
where
they
this came from.
would not get,
I don't know, but she said that they had inquired about it, and she told them that they couldn't participate. So I think we're gonna have to make a decision.
okay.
The court is one way or the other, because this could happen again.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if we get some more, just a little, if we can get a little more detail. that'd
Okay,
be-
we'll,
if it-
Emily
that's all
should
it
be
is,
back
then
the
I'd
next
probably be
meeting in
in
court, and
agreement.
we'll talk about it.
Okay.
All right. Next is the resolution. I think all of you got a copy of the proposed resolution in support of a congressional investigation over workers and their compensation from the, well, it started out, we all called it the atomic plant. And that's what a lot of people still refer to it today. It was Carbide, and then Martin Marietta, and then I don't know who's got it today, but you wanted to make a couple of comments before we read the resolution, give us an update.
Yes, Judge, I want to thank Fiscal Court for placing this on the agenda and kind of give you an update. Occasionally, you'll see me pop in, and I'll give you a success story or two, and I've already got one to share with you with the permission of the claimant. Judge, to follow what the judge said, it used to be referred to not only the atomic plant, but the bomb plant. And so the workers that I worked with for 14 years out there referred, if you're a nuclear worker veteran, these are all things that we all understood. And I only worked there 14 years, but I sure learned a lot. And what we're basically, last night I went before the Fiscal Court of McCracken County, gave them their update. And Judge Van Newberry, in his resolution before the Fiscal Court of McCracken County, the citizens of McCracken County, there's quite a few of those, they're a little closer, but we've got just as many people here. John Poe, Tom Poe, we have Herbie Travis, and some of the people here are having the same difficulty as the McCracken County, Hickman, and that's why we've taken this all across the western end of the state. We've got Adam Edlin that's backing us, and he's looking at whatever he can do. We really appreciate that, because once we get into the state, into Frankfurt with this, there's a lot of people that are reading my website, looking at the documents. Van Newberry, when he passed the resolution, or the board passed the resolution, made a comment, and it's on my website. If you go to that, go to the documents, and then go order by date. It makes it most recent, where you can see where they actually made the comment. And Van basically said, rather than asking for a congressional investigation, let's try something. Let's see how many claimants call up there to our congressman and see how many people get help. And Senator Paul and Senator McConnell. Well, we immediately started getting feedback from our claimants that they couldn't get anybody to talk to them. The phone was hung up on them. And it was hung up on them, not because they weren't qualified, it's because they didn't want to talk about anything about any sick nuclear worker in our community. And I say our community, just because Gary Vanderbilt comes forward, a 14-year Lockheed Martin decorated project manager with 2 President's Awards. When I look at something, it's based on an obvious root cause problem. And so I evaluated this for 4 years, worked with the Department of Justice, communicated with the Department of Justice, have given them the evidence, and shockingly, as soon as the resolution was passed in McCracken County, we started seeing Congressman Whitfield's staff deleting emails. And I have a software program that gives me that back, and maybe some of you are familiar with that. But the reason I'm here today is each one of you have an opportunity, rather than believing that I'm a bad guy because I'm giving the facts and showing it from the perspective of what the workers know and what the workers were exposed to. And shockingly, and I had surgery, this is not mayor getting a hold of me or anything, so I had rotator cuff surgery. And so tonight I'll go before the City Commission, and what I want all of you all to realize, the truth is there with the claimants. the truth has been opened up because claimants have waived their right to HIPAA, and they've waived their Privacy Act rights. And I'll be glad to show you all on my website, one step at a time. Of course, the mayor got all of these. And we just want you all to realize that when I win Herbie Travis's case, after he's fought for 8 years and been denied, he had to go to federal court. We had government accountability attorney represent him. As soon as he got into federal court, Rachel Layton, the director of this program, remanded his case back into the administrative realm. He went another 2 years. Now, if he had had a cancer that he wasn't able to cure, he would have died without his medical card. He just got it the other day. That's a victory. And that's a victory for a Marshall County young man that says, Gary, you go in there and you tell Judge, Judge, I think you know Mr. Travis. Mm-hmm. And these are real-time victories, which I'm appalled at the evidence that I gave to McCracken County, which it's on the website, with the names, only one name is redacted. That's a young man that's dying of liver cancer. And we have now opened up that every claimant at Honeywell is entitled to Part E compensation for $250,000 for Part E. Now, they didn't like it when I broke their code of denials. But I'm not going to sit here. Ed Whitfield's a friend of mine. I worked with Ed when I was city engineer in Paducah. I worked with a lot of the members of Congress. Senator McConnell is a good friend, but I don't like to see somebody say to the claimants in Western Kentucky, you go through the resource center, they'll help you. They won't. The claimants despise the people at the resource center because they're not working in their best interest. Now, I give you all the opportunity today to step forward. Van actually said he hoped the congressional delegation will act or there will be a congressional investigation. It's got to be on its way. Now, the weird thing is McConnell supported this 5 years ago. And, you know, yes, I'm a DOE whistleblower. I'm a successful False Claims Act whistleblower. I've just returned in my actions, which fall under a seal in the courthouse. Since 2001, I was a whistleblower, all right, but there's only certain people that knew it. And I was able to return $230,000 to the U.S. Treasury. And you can look at all of that on my website also. Now, I'm proud of that. And I've got my share of what's on the wall, and it, believe me, it put me at risk in more ways than one. But I cannot give up to see all of the people that said, you wouldn't believe the list of the people in this community that actually said, I can't win, so I'm not going to fight them anymore. They're fighting the resource center. Now, one of the employees has just resigned, retired early, according to what I've heard. I learned that in Fernald, Ohio, from a DOL claims examiner. So I've got a lot of the truth. If it's sort of like the movie with Jack Nicholson, if you can't stand the truth, don't go there. But I just think you all are smart people. We're all community. And at no time should ever a community say, we don't want to get involved to help your constituents. I think that's fair enough. Thank you, Judge.
Mm-hmm. Jason, you want to summarize or read the resolution?
Judge, I'll just summarize it. Resolution goes into the history of the workers out there, the exposure to certain elements that was a part of their occupation out there. Talks about the adoption of the Energy Employee Occupational Illness Compensation Program Act, which I believe was passed in the 1990s. And then resolution alleges that there has been unequal treatment of the workers in Paducah, being denied benefits under that program, and talks about the evidence supports an inconsistency in the claims process that reflects unjust denials of EEOI CPA claims, while other similar claims received prior DOL approvals for the very same illnesses. Claims approvals were based on a DOL selective approval process, which appears to have been directed toward specific groups of nuclear workers for the sole purpose of mitigating damages by withholding by withholding compensation and medical benefits. And then the resolution asks that there be a congressional investigation in the quote-unquote unequal treatment of local Marsh County workers, and specifically request that Senators McConnell and Paul and Congressman Ed Whitfield ensure that all claims filed by Marsh County sick nuclear workers are remanded and reopened due to the inappropriate claims denials by the Department of Labor.
Now, we have had over the years many of our citizens that worked there at the plant in McCracken County. We have several workers that are there now as contract employees for some of the larger construction firms that are doing work. Carlisle County, how many counties, Gary, have passed resolutions? I know Carlisle, Ballard have already passed theirs.
Carlisle County, Ballard County, Carlisle and Ballard were 1-2 within 30 minutes of each other. McCracken, it took us a little while to kind of educate those individuals and bring them up to speed. We delivered to Tony Smith the other day his resolution, and he was very supportive of it. We spent Friday delivering the draft resolution to each county that had requested some input. So Livingston County, Caldwell County, we didn't get to Murray. It's a bigger area than I anticipated, so we delivered those to Greg Pruitt, Hickman County, and Greg has expressed his support. And it's not a local issue. It's a large issue, not only here. Now, the reason we've taken this, Judge remembers me, I've been in politics a lot of years. The voters are in each county. And when those voters hear that they're not being paid or their neighbors are not being paid, they're asking questions, why did their neighbor get paid and they were 3 times worse? And what I did not address to you all is at the meeting last night, I actually would not say this unless I had the evidence. And Congressman Whitfield helped some that never worked inside the perimeter and only worked for 2 weeks and got compensated. I represent all who worked inside the plant for multiple years, double-digit years, even 20 and 30 years, got denied for the same cancer this individual got paid. So the other members of Congress that I deal with behind the scenes, they want to know what's going on. And Congressman Whitfield has a chance now to come back and look at what his staff has been doing behind the scenes, working with the Department of Labor to ensure that only select people that maybe knew somebody got paid. Now, we took a contingent of claimants to Mitch McConnell's office about a year ago. We unloaded 15 claimants and attempted to go into that office. As soon as we did, Marty Wiles came out of the office, left, and said she had to leave for another meeting out of county. Now, you all know Marty, I know Marty, and I've met many a time with Marty. Marty didn't want to hear it, but we had 15 claimants that were there, and every one of them had been denied. And then we looked at their origin of their political party. And there was only one person in that group that had been paid. That was Don Vanderbilt, my dad. And I think you would have to check his political affiliation to prove that I'm wrong. By the way, it's not mine, but that's the way we all have to be. We each have to make our own choice. And so by that one action, I started looking things at a little bit different level. It's shocking. So you should, I'm going to say it this way, but I've already challenged Senator McConnell. If he said for me to come forward 6 years ago, as a whistleblower, and he'd back me up, I fully expect him to do it and hold those congressional investigations, and I'll be in Washington. Because I believe if you look at the record, you'll see people that had 110% compliance, and they don't want to pay them because if they pay one of them that's blackened out with a handout I handed out last night. Now, Herbie Travis and Minnie Donald and all of those, they don't care. Linda Lou Freeman from Ballard County, Bless her heart, she's a fighter. Vicky Vineyard brought her personally to my house, personally to my office, and I couldn't believe it. Greg Terry, same way. Judge, you'll see the same thing. You'll see what happened. Herbie Travis wants Judge to see what they did to him. My question is, if you do that to somebody and you lose because Gary's overturned the claim, most of the people that don't want me to do this say, well, Gary, you're getting paid for doing what you're doing. Well, a gentleman walked up to the camera in McCracken County and said, let me just tell you something. 80% of something is a whole lot more, is better than 100% of nothing. Now, an attorney is going to charge you to go into federal court 30 and 40% for a trial. But they're willing to do it. And I'm proud of them. I hate to see it. I hate to see what I'm doing, to try to help them. But boy, they appreciate it. Because if I don't do it, nobody's going to do it.
Okay, you had an opportunity to hear the resolution. What's the pleasure of the court?
Judge, I'm in support of
Okay.
everything he's saying. I just feel like you've levied some pretty hefty allegations, and this resolution includes a lot of information that by signing we agreed to. And I'm not comfortable myself without contacting the people that you've mentioned and finding out, because obviously they're not here. But if the things that you have said are true, I'd like to hear that. I'd like to hear what their reasons are before I sign something that says I agree that they did it. That's just where I stand on it, because I think that these people do obviously deserve. Sure.
I understand what you're saying. This is why we bring it before the boards. But let me give you the comment that they've already told McCracken County Judge Executive and the board there, that they don't like people like me helping the claimants. But that's that's a federal regulation that allows the claimant. And if you're an 80-year-old grandmother and you're trying to get your deceased husband's money, you have a federal law and a regulation that allows you to go get help from Gary. What you're going to hear, Mitzi, is from the congressman and Ed Whitfield and Rand Paul. They just got through calling my claimants and said, if you terminate Gary's contract, we will help you get paid. Yes, that is an allegation, but I just want you to hear that now, because I'd like to come back and after you contact them, I want you to hear let the board hear what they said about that. Yes,
Well,
I've
we-
levied some pretty big stuff.
We would be willing, I've known Herbie Travis for well over 40 years. The Poe brothers from Palma, those are two that I know that are affected by this. And there's others, but those three I know personally. And it might be well that if you would have them to appear before the court and
That'd be
just,
great.
that would be helpful. If you think that would be helpful,
Oh,
we could.
absolutely. I mean, I've spoken with a few.
But they will give you a statement. Herbie Travis is working, he's working right now. I know John and Tom will. You all just have to realize the story's there, and he can call you, Mitzi. From what I understand, they don't mind calling each one of you and telling you what
I've
happened.
spoken with a few of them, and I fully understand their complaints. I just feel like some of the things that has been said, by just signing off on it, I feel like that's agreeing with you, and I don't know that that's fair because there's no representation from, I just want to make sure that I've got both sides, so I
But the
fully
point is,
understand
this
what I'm-
supports, if there's as Judge Newberry said, if the claimants don't have, and their resolution strictly said, help the claimants with their claims.
Well, and that would be fine. This goes
But
a
they
step
didn't. That's
further.
my
This says
that's my
there's
point,
been
Mitzi.
unequal
So
treatment,
I
and
really, I'm
get
only
that
here
point.
to see if anybody has any questions and why they won't sign it. And you have to judge why you won't sign it. It's about the congressional investigation that will expose it all, where you will be able to see the big picture. If you pick up the phone and call Ed Whitfield, Mitch McConnell, and Rand Paul, they're just going to say, don't listen to Gary, okay? Now, they told me to do this, so I'm just telling you, go to them and then come back and tell me, or the judge or the board, that's what they said, okay? Thank you.
And you all can
Bob?
pass it if y'all are ready to. I just wanted to-
You or Terry have any questions?
I don't have any problem with tabling it until the next meeting, until we can talk to some folks. We'll see if we can get a little more information.
I would just need a motion to do that.
That motion that we.
To table, yeah.
this for the time being, and we'll talk about it the next meeting.
Okay, your motion is to table until next meeting, give time to try to talk to it. And there's others, I'm sure, but those three are the
absolutely.
ones I know. We'll be
My driver.
happy to. All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say, and the motion is to table action on this resolution until the next regular meeting of the fiscal court. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Any other old business? All right, let's move into new business. As Russell has indicated, and it's in our budget, for a new sign truck, we would ask that you authorize Russell to prepare bid statements and put out our advertising for bids on a new road department sign truck. We have a motion by Squire Anderson. Is there a second? Second by Squire Gold. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Also, we have talked about and did authorize and put in the budget for a new jail vehicle. Roger could not be here today. His conference is beginning today in northern Kentucky. But I would ask for your authorization to prepare for bids for a new jail vehicle.
Make that motion, Judge.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. From Tim York, the county clerk's claim for preparing tax bills in the amount of $3,244.80. What's your pleasure?
Motion to pay it.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. As required by KRS 133-240, Section 3, the Department of Revenue hereby certifies that the total number of motor vehicle and boat accounts for this county is 41,426 as of January 2012, for which the fiscal court shall pay the county clerk 15 cents for the calculation of a tax bill for each account. The amount to be paid by the fiscal court is $6,213.90. What's your pleasure?
Make that motion, Judge.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. The city of Benton has issued a curfew for Halloween. I believe the time is 10 o'clock.
Yeah, Judge, I checked with all three cities and all three of them doing the same thing, observing on Wednesday and 10 o'clock curfew.
And how can we build our fire in Hardin if we're gonna have a curfew at 10 o'clock? I mean, is that just out of the question? Sheriff, you had nothing to go through that.
Mentioned him specifically, didn't
You,
When they imposed
I think Hardin's 9 o'clock, Judge.
Hardin,
They're shutting out an hour early.
I mean, so we'd just be complying with what the cities have done by setting a 10 o'clock curfew. What's your pleasure?
Make that motion, Judge.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. We would like to encourage parents to go with their children when they're trick-or-treating, particularly on heavily traveled roads. There will be a lot of young people out, and it's a fun night for the kids, and but it also can be a very dangerous. Have them dressed with reflective clothing or something that can be seen. We just want everybody to be safe. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have a personnel matter to discuss, and I would entertain a motion to go into a brief executive session.
Make that motion, Judge.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, we'll be in executive session. Let's call a meeting of the fiscal court back into regular session. We did have an executive session to discuss a personnel issue. We had an employee who was convicted of a drug offense, although he is not incarcerated. He was convicted, and we have had him on leave without pay. So after going through all of the records, I would entertain a motion from the court to let this individual go.
Make a motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Emily has asked that we transfer $50,000 from the road fund to the general fund. The transfer will be only utilized if needed, but she felt like we needed that cushion in the general fund. Sheriff, tax collections are going pretty well, didn't you say? I heard you say it's going pretty well. We'll be getting a check from the sheriff sometime in November, our first check. But she wanted to make sure we had enough in the general fund to cover all of our bills between now and then. So I would entertain a motion to transfer $50,000 from the road fund to the general fund.
Motion to approve the transfer, Judge.
We have a motion to approve the transfer. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Before we approve our bills, as I said earlier, our next regularly scheduled court meeting will fall on the presidential election day. Offices will be closed as tradition for presidential election day, which is on the 6th. I would recommend that we move our meeting to November the 7th, which would be the following day on Wednesday at the same time, if there's no objection. Everybody okay with that? Bob, have you got anything scheduled?
That's fine.
That's fine. All right, then we'll set that meeting for the 7th of November at 9:30 here in the courtroom. Russell and I were talking before the meeting today. Russell, you want to look? Russell's went up to Frankfurt to look at surplus property last week. We were looking for a couple of items. They did find some tools, but we found out that Russell is the only one who is permitted to use our surplus property card. He has the forms, and he would like the court to consider adding 2 people to that. Is that correct, Russell? 2 people?
Jeff Jaco and Frankie Sled.
Jeff Jaco and Frankie Sled, and get them cards to allow them to go to Frankfurt, and Russell would not have to be present with them. We are looking for a press. That's what actually we went to look for, was a drill press we were looking for. They have some in Ohio that they think will be, this includes federal surplus as well as state, and they're going to call us when they are able to get us a press. But I would entertain a motion to add those 2 to our surplus property donee cards.
Make that motion, Judge.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Is there anything else?
Yes, we got a dump truck bed that we can surplus off. I'd like to ask for permission to advertise.
All right,
Beds.
you've heard the request we have a dump bed that we're not currently using, to declare that surplus and take bids, advertise it and take bids. What's your pleasure?
Make that motion, Judge.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
None.
Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Last Friday, we had a ceremony down at WCBL Radio honoring the late Shelby McCallum, who was our state representative here in Marshall County for many years, owner of WCBL, my former employer. Justin Lamb was the driving force. This is a state historical marker that is now down at the radio station. Shelby's family came in. It was very nice ceremony, and Justin, I appreciate all your work in making that happen. I think it's a well-deserved honor for Mr. McCallum and his family. And today happens to be Justin's birthday, so if anybody wants to give him a few licks or whatever, happy birthday, Justin. Jeff, do you have anything?
Yes, sir.
All right, you all had an opportunity to review the bills. Do I hear a motion to pay the bills?
Motion to pay the bills.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries.
Animal shelter vehicle surplus, the animal shelter truck.
Oh, yes. The animal shelter truck is getting in bad shape. We are looking, so I don't know that they want to advertise just yet. We'd like to get an enclosed vehicle, which would be able to transport the animals during inclement weather. We had Russ and them look while they were up there last week at surplus property, but we will continue that. But I want to make you aware that the truck's on its last leg, and we may have to come back and just advertise for something new. We're not sure. We hope we can find something.
Well,
but
could we authorize and then they can just get with you? And then,
That-
as long as it's within their budget, I don't think they're asking to spend anything
No,
extra.
no,
They're
no,
just
no,
within their
they're,
budget.
right. No, that would be fine with me if y'all
Joe,
want
be all right with
That'd
that?
be fine.
Okay.
I'd make a motion that we allow them to surplus when they're ready and then communicate with you on replacement vehicle.
All right, you've heard the motion. Is there a second? Motion and second. Any discussion?
None.
Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Any other business? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Have a motion, is there a second? All in favor, say aye. Meeting adjourned.